Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another show, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dynamic duo. The guy that I have an undefeated record against. My record is like 98-0. Like he's just never beat me in a debate ever. Just like everyone else, to be fair. I beat everyone in the debates. But joining us on the channel today, as you guys can see in the title, is Tom Little. Now, before we introduce him, we're going to say what we're going to talk about today. So today, we've got on the menu two Liverpool players won the Euro Under-21s, Curtis Jones and Levi Colwill. So we're going to be talking about both of these players. We're going to be talking about Harvey Elliott, of course. Of course, we're going to talk about Harvey Elliott. I was just trolling there. We're going to be talking about Romeo Lavia. We're going to be talking about all things Liverpool on the stream. There's so much on the menu today. We promised you entertainment throughout the summer, and we are delivering, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't even started yet. I haven't even introduced my guest yet, and there's already 100 people in here. You guys are not new to the channel. You guys know what to do. Slap the like button. Subscribe. I don't want to keep interrupting us because you know me and Tom Little always get into arguments. So make sure you're slapping the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're yet to do so. And make sure you are wishing Tom Little a happy birthday because today he turns 19, ladies and gentlemen. So joining us on the channel, of course, representing Tom Little on Husam X Tom Little. Make sure you slap the like button and subscribe and wish him a happy birthday in the comment section. Man like Tom Little has joined us. How are you doing, bro?
I've won, Husam. That's what I've done. I have won. It's taken a year, but I have won. Your whole stick, your whole little thing about Curtis Jones is the worst Liverpool player of all time, or 50-minute arguments, and I have won. Because Curtis Jones won a European title for England. Steven Gerrard never done that.
It doesn't matter because Scout's not English. So guys, make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing. Let me address this guy in the comments right here. Ben, let me explain something to you, brother. You don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke. And you know what? I'm going to do something that I don't usually do. Ben, you've got a microphone. You've got a camera. Instead of bitching in the comment section, if you want to come on DM on Twitter, I'll send you the link. I'll give you the smoke right now. You and Tom will get this smoke regarding Curtis Jones. So if you want the smoke, talk to me. I'll bring you on the channel now instead of bitching in the comment section. DM me right now. My Twitter's open. DM me. I'll get you on the channel right now. And I'll dunk on your head top. Mr. Ben, this guy. Anyway. So, Tom, I don't know where we should start with all this, to be honest with you, because there's a lot to talk about still. There's genuinely so much to talk about. Like, it's not even just Curtis Jones. There's so many different topics. We're going to be talking as well, like, you know, because we still have a rebuild to finish. We still got a lot to do. So it's just so much. It's just so much. People are saying, get Ben on, Ben in. Bro, no problem. Bring him in. DM me. Hey, Ben, if you're listening, DM me right now. I'll send you the link. No problem. No problem. I'll smoke you and Tom. How about that? So, you know, if he wants to come on, the title is Husam X Tom Little, but we'll happily make an exception for that guy right there. No problem. No problem. Ben, you don't want the smoke. I'm telling you right now. Big up to Felipe, who says Jones is a valuable squad player. Sorry, haters. You'll need him if you want to win the title because your midfield and defense is weak. LFC finished 5th. First of all, we ain't going to finish no damn 5th place, Felipe. This is what I don't get to these Newcastle fans getting a little bit of, you know, too much excitement here in their chests. Oh my God, you think you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy, Felipe. So you need to chill out, pump the brakes a little bit. You can't tell me how I'm going to win the league when I'm a Liverpool Football Club fan. But you're a big supporter of the channel, and you know I got mad love for you. But let's not sit up here and do this whole Newcastle prop thing. You get me? Because you ain't built for this. You ain't ready for the smoke. Big up to you, Felipe, though. Love for the love. This $7 Australian going right into Tom's pocket. See, I just paid Tom's wages for this show. £2 right there. So big up to you guys, man. Slap the like, subscribe. Let's get into it. Tom, what subject do you want to start with? Since you think you quote unquote won, you tell me the subject you want to start with. You want to start with
there's no quote unquote. I did win.
You didn't win. You didn't win.
I did win.
You want to talk about Curtis? We can do it if you want. What do you want to start with? Tell me.
Let's start with Curtis. Let's start with Curtis.
Okay, no problem. Go for it. You know what? I'm not even gonna open my mouth. You can speak. Go on. I will not even introduce. I'll not segue.
No,
I'll not
no,
do
no.
anything. The
And
floor is yours.
because what is there to say that I haven't said already? I've been very impressed with him this tournament. He was very unfortunate. To be honest, I don't get how he's only how he didn't win player of the tournament, or at least how Colwill didn't win player of the tournament. Instead it went to Anthony Gordon. That blows my mind. But Curtis Jones had a very good.
Sorry, who won player of the tournament?
Anthony Gordon.
Oh, that's interesting. Carry on.
He's had like really solid. In fact, no, that doesn't do it justice. He's had a really good last 3 months. And yes, you're going to say he's been at Liverpool for 4 years, which is fine. But then, Husam, I will ask you the question. Is it a possibility that players develop and improve later on in their career compared to others?
Yes. And?
So then, could Curtis Jones very well be one of these players who has now finally hit the point where he's taking that next step in his development and his growth?
What makes you think I'm against that?
No, it's a genuine question. Do you now think we're at that stage?
I don't believe it yet. I need
You don't
more.
believe it yet, right? Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe he's gonna be that guy yet.
So what do you believe is going to happen for next season?
Bro, this is your segment.
No,
You're here to talk about Curtis Jones. Why are you asking me questions?
I have said everything I need to say about Curtis Jones. I've said
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Tell me.
I
Because you're good at tweeting stuff. You're calling him Scouse Excellence.
Yeah,
you know what?
Scouse Excellence.
No, he's not Scouse Excellence. We employ Trent. Trent is Scouse Excellence.
Yeah, they're both
Scouse Excellence.
You can have two Scouse Excellence.
Don't put Trent and Curtis in the same category, please. Don't you dare disrespect Trent Alexander-Arnold like that. How dare you?
Trent.
How dare you disrespect Trent like that?
It's picking up Scousers.
Okay, you're Scouser too. Do I put you in the same category as them?
Yes. Do you know what, Husam? Do you know what? I should have probably put in Anthony Gordon in that tweet as well, because he's a Scouser. And he was in our academy.
Can you tell me your opinion on Curtis Jones now, please, so I can rebuttal what you're saying? Please.
No, but what do you want to know?
I want to know Curtis Jones won the... See, this is the problem with these Curtis Jones reps. Someone go DM Ben. Tell him if he wants to come on the show. Someone DM him right now. No, this is the problem with these reps. They don't know what they want.
What do you want me to talk about?
This guy's going to sit here and fight for 45 minutes. And in the end, his argument's going to be, I think Curtis Jones needs to be 6th choice.
No.
Like what?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you're doing all this for a 6th choice player.
Yeah.
Oh, Scouse Excellence.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If Curtis Jones was called Curtis Joninho, you would all want him. If he played for Porto and we're linked to him, you'd all do this, you'd all do that. So you just want him to be 6th choice?
Yeah, because it's not even about being 6th choice. It's about being a backup option. Curtis Jones as a backup option is a very solid backup option. I'm not someone who sits here. I'm not like Slime or someone who sits here and goes, oh no, he should be starting, he should be this, he should be that. All I will say, if he has a good pre-season, then he should start the first game. If he perform, he's now at that point in his career where he should be included in the categories of, if you perform well, you start.
Ben, are you sure you want the smoke? I'm ready. Okay, so
I don't think he'd DM you. I don't think he'd DM you if he didn't want the smoke.
Okay, no problem. Let's do it then. Because you see, I need one more Curtis guy, because this guy is doing up this whole thing. Here, I'll send you the link. And I'm going to tweet you in the tweet as well. Retweet it so your followers can come, because I know a whole lot of top reds follow you. Ben, yalla, here, the link has been sent. See, you're good at talking. Let's do this. Yalla. Mr. SMX LFC is joining us.
Look at this stuff in the comments. Jones should not start the first game. Jones must not. I'm not overrating him. At the end of the day, if he, in pre-season, has a better pre-season than Alexis McAllister and Thiago, why should he not start?
Okay. Tom Little, it's not about pre-season. That's not the point. The point is...
You can't do ability talk.
Do you agree that Curtis Jones is our 6th choice midfielder? Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, that's in case we sign Lavia, right?
Yeah. He's 5th choice now. If we sign Lavia, it goes to 6th.
Would you say Bajcetic is ahead of Jones?
No.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not even gonna argue that. So you're saying Curtis Jones is 6th choice midfielder, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when we do this unnecessary extra prop, why do you always go over the top?
Do you know what it is? You go over the top of it. The slander that Curtis Jones has been having for the past 2 to 3 years has been so over the top, including calling him the worst Liverpool player you've ever seen. That is so over the top.
Have you got any proof of that? That's just a rumor.
That's just a rumor.
Have you ever got any proof of that? Because people keep saying I said that, but there's no proof.
It was either in a stream or on a tweet. I know I've seen that. I know I've seen you and that phrase associated together.
I don't recall saying that. Maybe that's that's somewhere else. I never said that.
No, look at that smile. That's a smile of someone who knows he said it.
I never said he's the worst player. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, so anyway, listen, Tom. Backup is here for you. That's clearly. One second, let me introduce this guy. Backup is here for you because clearly you suck at this, Tom. Before we do that, he's finally joined us, folks, and it's after Curtis Jones' ass deflected goal that he's here to defend his star boy. 300 people are in here. We're just 10 minutes into this. There's smoke is gonna happen in the stream because I'm gonna ask him about multiple different things as well. But everyone watching us right now, please do make sure you're liking the video. Do make sure you're subscribing to this football. 300 people are in here. We ain't even gotten heated yet. Like the video, subscribe. Special shout out to Felipe for the super chat, and of course, joining us. I don't know how I'm gonna introduce this guy though, because usually I like when I do intros, I introduce like an asshole. So let me introduce him like an asshole. This guy is the toppest bottom red. He's the bottomest top red, most confused guy I've met on Twitter. And he's always calling me out. So it's about damn time he made an appearance on this channel. Joining us, of course, is Curtis Jones's biggest fanboy. The biggest fanboy. Man like Ben has joined us. How you doing, Ben?
Good evening, boys. Yeah, no, I was all good, mate. I was just chilling, watching the stream and leaving a couple of comments because you think I don't watch your stuff, bro. I actually do watch it like every now and again. I can't watch it too much because I end up losing my head. But yeah, when I see you go live, I do tune in for a few minutes, watch a little bit, and then yeah, actually, that's enough for me. Click off. But yeah, no, good.
Okay,
to see
you, you're here. You're here. I'm first of all, I'm happy you took it. I called you out. I'm happy.
Mate, I'll never listen. I'll never hide, bro. Like never.
Perfect. Because this Tom Little's already bottled the Curtis Jones argument. I'm gonna be honest with you, but somehow he's getting support from the comments.
How have I bottled it? You were trying to
comments down when I asked him his opinion on Curtis Jones. He started asking me a bunch of questions.
Yes, because you know my opinion on Curtis Jones already. You know my opinion on Curtis Jones.
Yeah, but I wanted you to reiterate it so we can have a conversation.
Well, Curtis Jones is a great option for us, and I'm happy that he's taking the steps.
Oh, so me and you both agree he's 6th choice. Wow, let's shake hands then. Why we're arguing for?
We're not arguing. That's the point. You're trying to make an argument.
Okay, no problem. Ben is here to argue then, and I know you're gonna be shameless because you're calling him Scout's excellence. So let's do it.
Scout's excellence.
Big up the Trent is Scout's excellence.
They're both Scout's excellence.
No, but one guy's more excellent.
Any decent Scouser who plays for Liverpool is Scout's excellence.
It's more. Oh, really? So is Jay Spearing Scout's excellence then?
Any decent player. Decent. The key word
Jay
there was
Spearing in 11-12 when he wore this shirt, he was decent. You cannot deny he was not. Decent.
No,
he was decent. Not. He was a he's a good DM.
No, he wasn't.
He was a good DM.
He was Charlie Adam.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was annoyed that he left. I'm gonna be honest. Jay Spearing, I was annoyed that he left because I think Jay Spearing had that dog in him. The problem is he was too short. That's the problem with him. Big up the boss who says, big up Tom, a proper real one. Big up all. Big up to you, the boss. Thank you for the super chat. As I said, guys, make sure you're liking, subscribing. 350 people here. Let me go to Ben, give him the floor. Since he's coming here. This isn't his debut, by the way. I think he came on. This is his third time, I believe, on the channel. His first appearance was after we won the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. That was his first appearance. He came on the next day. It was a full panel. We were celebrating. So I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Tom that he's dodged. Your thoughts on Curtis Jones, Mr.
My thoughts on Curtis Jones. I've said it so many times, and I don't know how many more times I can make it clear. Right? I don't know what level Tom thinks he can get to, but I've not tried to pretend that he's going to be like Trent or like Stevie or like any of these guys, Robbie Fowler, even to some extent Jamie Carragher. I think I'd like to think he can get to that stage, but what I do like about Jones and what I do think he can get to is the level where he can just come in, play 3-4 games here, there. it doesn't need to be world class. It doesn't need to get to world class stage. We've always moaned about depth. We've always moaned about not having good players in our squad. The 1 year we did it, we managed to chase a quad. And for me, I've seen so many players, so many worse players than Curtis Jones, almost be more respected than him. And I think the reason why I and Tom and other people that do like Jones, and I think everyone should like Jones, by the way, but the reason why I think we have to be so vocal on it is because people like yourself, Thiago's father, a couple other guys on Spaces, they go to the complete opposite extreme. I know you've said it was a joke since, but you did say he's the worst Liverpool player of all time. Thiago's father, every time Jones steps on a football pitch, he tweets 100 things out about him. Yesterday, he did about 10 tweets about him. Big up him, by the way. Don't have an issue with
I
him.
tweeted one tweet. I can't lie. Thiago's father is even worse than me. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, no, he is. I'd agree with that, to be fair. But I just don't understand how this, 22-year-old gets so many people vexed. Like, I don't get it. Like, people genuinely get angry when Curtis Jones steps on a pitch. And I get the whole, maybe he stagnated, maybe his career took a bit longer to get going than everyone would have thought. Fine. But how much longer do we have to let him show what he can do before we start to say, okay, actually, he can be a Liverpool player? Because all you get now is, it's only 10 games. So he goes and does it in the under 21 Euros. He's playing against farmers that have part-time jobs. So it just seems that every time he is going to perform now, there's going to be some sort of excuses to people want to downplay how good he
It's a double standards as well, especially in that tournament, because we had a number of targets in that tournament. Thuram, Kone, Van der Ven, just to name a few off the top of my head. Mickey Van der Ven had a good game against whoever it was, first game he played. And people were raving about it, going, look at that. Look at that performance. Look at what he can do. Sandro Tonali was another one who got loads of praise. And then Curtis Jones played one. It was, why are you trying to hype up an under-21 tournament? And then a day later, Manu Kone had Thuram was awful, but Kone had a really good game. And all of a sudden, it was Manu Kone's better than Thuram. You've got to be picking up Manu Kone. It's a double standard. We're not sitting here making out that Curtis Jones should start 38 games in the Premier League next season, given the captain's armband or anything. But in the same breath, Curtis Jones is a good player to have in the squad. He's got a skill set that not many in the squad have, and is going to be a valuable option for years forwards. I disagreed with the notion at the start of the season that he had no future at the club. He wasn't a good player. There was no line of it. You've got to look at what he can do in these last 10 games, in the position that he is most suited to, in the position that is most similar to the one he played at youth level, instead of being chucked at left wing, or the Wijnaldum role, in the position that is most similar to what he done at youth level, where it plays to his strengths. He has shone, and he has been arguably our best midfielder, if you don't count Trent as a midfielder, in that last 10 games, which nearly saved our season. It was just done too late.
So now it's my time to respond, because we need some reasonableness in this video. First of all, you see you BTech ads. Like the video, subscribe, shut your mouth. Don't come up here start saying hold that because you want under 21 euros. Let me just say this. First of all, what other people say has nothing to do with me. What I didn't use the under 21s to prop up Thuram. I didn't use it to prop Kone. Tom Little was doing shows with me weekly, almost like once every 2-3 days. I never mentioned any of those games. I will never use a kids game to make it translate into the grown man game. Because just go look at the under 20 team who won the World Cup for England and the under 17 team who won the World Cup for England. Brewster, Solanke, Josh McCachran, the Chelsea guy, the City keeper who doesn't even play football anymore. All of these guys were part of that team that had success at that level. Players, when they play under 21, under 20, under 23, under 17, it doesn't translate to the grown man game. Use
then, Husam, I can easily just...
Tom,
it's an easy count.
No, I'm going to land because it's 1v2. I'm going to land. I don't care. I'm going to land. Use Bajcetic as an example. Bajcetic in the academy many times played as a centre-back. If he played as a centre-back in the Premier League, he'd get eaten alive. Imagine Antonio running at Bajcetic. What would happen to him? We all say... I think Bajcetic is a fantastic project. I want to see him play for us. And actually, me and Ben are in agreement on Bajcetic because I think like we ran him into the ground. Like we are the reason he's injured anyway. So I want him to play, but I want him to play slowly. I don't want to just shove him in the deep end again and just go like get injured. I don't want him to have like injuries because of us. So I like the Bajcetic project. But Bajcetic plays centre back in the academy. You look at that England under-21s team. You look at under-21 football in general, the level of it. It's nowhere near the grown man game. Now, I'm not just going to use unsuccessful examples. There are successful examples. But my point is, I am not going to use the under-21 as a measuring stick, because what I care about is what he done for Liverpool Football Club. Now, was I too harsh on Curtis Jones? I don't believe I was. Now, the tweet, I was exaggerating. Obviously, he's the worst ever player. Of course, he's not. I watch Paul.
You've only said you're exaggerating since he's
No, but I've always, listen, I've never believed he's that bad, because I've seen Paul Konchesky. Bro, this shirt like was worn by Fabio Borini. Like, I've seen bad players. I know bad players.
Borini technically never wore that shirt.
I remember when Borini did this celebration when we scored against Hearts in the Europa League qualifiers. I still remember those days. So I've seen bad players. I of course, I exaggerated the point, but that has nothing to do with the argument. The argument is as follows. Curtis Jones in the last 10 games, I'm willing to change my mind. Other people are not willing to change their mind. In the last 10 games, I watched him. He played really well. I gave him consistent praises for what he done in a Liverpool shirt. My only point was, let's not use an under-21s Euro tournament for England to make it like as if it means something. Because the reality is it means nothing. It's about what he does in a Liverpool shirt. Now, what he's done in a Liverpool shirt is he's had maybe 2 or 3 good performances a year up until last year, when in those last 10 games he kind of went on that run and we gave him praise. So, and that's why I changed my opinion. I said, okay, I think Curtis Jones is a rotational piece. So I think, you know, you're playing Luton Town at home, McAllister's tired, you want to play Curtis Jones? I've got no problem with that. My problem is the over-the-top stuff. Like he's some regen of like an unbelievable player and shit. Like he's just not that guy yet. If he grows up to become like an average bench player, whatever, okay, fair enough. But the hype that's around him because of an under-21 game is the reason why people like me, it's just like, what's happening here?
The thing is, Husam, with Curtis Jones, and I said this back in August or July last year. Curtis Jones' ceiling may well only be 4th choice midfielder for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's perfectly fine, because Liverpool Football Club should have 3 world-class midfielders week in, week out.
Agreed.
Starting. Having Curtis Jones as a 6th choice, there's a lot of teams in this league that he would start for. He's just never had the chance at us to showcase it. And it's annoying that in a sense with him.
He's had chances, Tom. Don't act like he's not played football now. No, but you can't go to the extreme. He's had opportunities. Say it as it is. He's had opportunities. He didn't play well. Last 10 games, he played fantastic.
There's a difference between chances and opportunities. A chance is what he had at the back end of last season, and the year before when he had that extended run where he started Porto, he started City,
the quad season.
Yeah. So yeah, in the last 2 seasons, he's had 2 chances. Before that, when he was being chucked at DM, with Milner and Thiago alongside him, with Fabinho and Henderson at centre-back. That's not a chance.
It was just the COVID season, really, before then, where he was
And
playing.
then the year before that, 1920.
No, but Tom, you're just being disingenuous.
How am I being disingenuous?
Because now you're
like... Bar the last 10 games...
Why are you doing definition of chance versus opportunity?
No, because bar the last 10 games, what is the longest run of games Curtis Jones started in a row?
Okay, but that's not... Can I tell you why that's not the point? Because I'm being honest.
Yeah,
Bajcetic came in this season from the first game. You're like, okay, this guy got it. Am I lying?
Mm-hmm.
Am I lying? Was that a chance or an opportunity? Same shit, bro. Come on, let's not do it. Chance. Okay, but let's not do it. Point is, last in the quad season, was he impressive in that run he played?
Curtis Jones in the quad season, he had a good game.
The Porto one, right?
Yeah.
In the Prem, would you agree he wasn't levels at all? He wasn't good at all.
No, but I don't think he was.
Or he was average. Let me say he was average.
Yeah, he was average. He had moments, but he was average.
Okay, but that's the thing. So he's had opportunities, and he never reached that level. Now, for me, I'm actually being more realistic than you guys, because I've changed my mind. I've said these last 10 games, I'm like, okay, this guy's playing well. I don't have to go over the top anymore.
You know what though, Sam? I can just you're by Chesic points. By Chesic played 13 games last season. Curtis Jones's first 13 games, people were raving about him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he scored against Everton. He then scored against Shrewsbury, I think it was, in the round afterwards. Scored 2 against Shrewsbury, I think. Then the season afterwards was when he played in the Prem. He got Tottenham. Like for them first 15, 20 games of Curtis Jones' Liverpool career, scored against Villa during lockdown. People were raving about him. People were seeing that potential. The same thing that happened with Bajcetic this season. The difference was Bajcetic got the extended run of starts because we had no one else. Curtis Jones in 1920 performed probably at the same level that Bajcetic did, but was not going to start ahead of a Henderson that was on course to win Player of the Year, Fabinho that was in his pomp, Wijnaldum, and then beyond that, it was a fit Ox for the first time in 2 years. Keita, who was fit for the first time in 2 years.
And Bajcetic played next to Ronaldinho?
No, that's my whole point.
Bajcetic played next to an even worse team. And he's still shot.
It wasn't about who he played next to, it was who he had to beat out to play.
The thing is, though, like every single young player is going to be different. I feel like Stefan came into the squad in a time where we literally had no other choice but to stick or twist. You know, we had to try something new. We had to go with something different, and he came in and he's done well. I feel like every young player is going to develop differently. And I just want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, Husam, when you said not everyone said, you know, under 21s tournament is like a good factor. And I agree with that. But then also, I'm not saying Tom's done this, by the way, but these guys on Twitter that have said Curtis Jones is going to be the next Stevie or all of this nonsense, I've never said that either. So I shouldn't be put under that same, you know, category. All I've said about Jones and all I will continue saying about Jones is I think there's a good player in there, technically really good, can be really useful for us, especially this season now in Europa League. I admit, if it wasn't a Europa League season and we was in the Champions League, then I'd be a little bit concerned about his game time because he's probably not going to play as much. But now we can afford to go with Stefan, we can go with Jones, we can go with Elliott. And in the group stage, at least, that should be enough to come out on top and, you know, go through and skip out the round of 32. I think if you top the group, you miss that round. So hopefully that's what we can do. I have never, and I need to make this perfectly clear, I've never pretended he's going to be world-class. I don't think he'll be world-class. But I like the guy. I think he's shown something when he's played. I think, you know, you can see how much he loves the club. And I'm not saying that's the be-all and end-all, by the way, because we'd still have John Flanagan playing for us if it was all about being scouts and loving the club and all of that. But
John Flanagan was banging in 13-14 as well. I'm going to just put it out there.
Yeah,
he was the original scout Scafu, by the way. Yeah. Let's not change it.
He was
the original scout. That goal against Tottenham, unbelievable finish as well.
But yeah, I just feel like the reason why I always defend him is because people are way over the top on him. They're, you know, when he puts a post up, you get these idiots saying, "Oh, you need to be sold" and stuff like that. So I feel like, you know, as a big Liverpool supporter, I feel like it's my role to, you know, give these guys praise when they deserve it, and he certainly.
So you're counteracting the negativity, basically.
Yeah, but deservedly so, because he deserves it. And any player that's played like he does, you know, I would do it to any player. It's not just because I like him. And equally, if he's bad, if he's poor, you know, I've called out Trent a lot last season. I called out every player last season. I think everyone did, to be fair,
except Alisson. That's what
yeah, apart from Alisson, yeah, maybe Salah. But look, I just feel like there's a whole divide over Curtis Jones, and I don't get it. Like, why do we have to be so quick to beat our youngsters down? If he stagnates and he's still starting games and he's not at the level we need, but Klopp still wants to shoehorn him in and to keep playing him when it's clear it's not going to work, fine. I'll be frustrated by that as well. But he's not, like we all know, we've signed Szoboszlai, amazing signing. We've signed McAllister, amazing signing. We've still got a few other potential signings coming in. We all know Jones ain't going to start every game next season, so I just don't see the problem.
Okay, so I have an important question to ask you. But before I do that, guys, there's 450 people watching us. We're even on 200 likes yet. This is bad conversion rate. Everyone right now, stop what you're doing this very second. Slap that like button. Subscribe to the channel. 450 people. You're getting Ben and Husam on the same stream with Tom Little, and it's his birthday, and you're not liking the video. Every single person watching us right now, this very second, stop what you're doing. Slap the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're right to do so. Big up to the boss. Big up to Felipe for the super chats. Big up to you both. Special shout out to you. Make sure you're all liking. Make sure you're all subscribing. Ryan, I can't believe I'm about to say he spoke facts too, but there's only one thing I need to check before I say he spoke fact. Do you think before this run of 10 games, like you're saying you would defend him and blah, 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 I understand that. Before the run of 10 games, was your energy the same, or did you need to see the run of 10 games to like change your opinion?
You can go back on my account, do an advanced search, type Jones, type CJ, type whatever you want. Goes back to a year to 2021. I've always kept it the same. I've always said the same thing about him.
So, but see, that's where me and you and I'd say Tom differ, because for me, I'm just waiting for him to prove it in a Liverpool shirt. That's all I want. So in those last 10 games, this guy Tom Little has come on here and he's like cooked me 500 times, and I've come here and I've said like, listen, I give him unbelievable praise. You can ask Tom; he's here. I praise him so much. But the truth is, for me, I'm just waiting to see it in a Liverpool shirt. Now, the follow-up question would be as follows, and you both can answer this. So next season, I agree with you. The Europa League is going to be the reason why he plays a lot of games. Because for me, minimum, you've got 6 Europa League games, and then you got like essentially the group stages. I think he plays all the games, and then you've got the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. If the midfield needs a rest, maybe a McAllister, Szoboszlai, bring him in. I've got no problem with that. So if next season, once again, he gets those opportunities, and we get, let's say, the old Curtis. So let's look at negative and positive scenario. So if we get the old Curtis back, right? Like, you know, the indecisive Curtis, let's say, because his biggest problem has always been decision making. That's the be all and end all biggest problem with Curtis. It's like last season, the season before, you watch him, he's like kind of shoots when he needs to pass, passes when he needs to shoot, dribbles unnecessary sometimes. If we're on a counter attack, sometimes he doesn't release the ball quick. And actually, these last 10 games, what I praise the most is that I felt like he started releasing the ball a lot quicker, whether it is a shot, whether it's a pass, whether it's an anything. He was just making a decision and boom, going with it. Because what I've always maintained is I don't care if a guy takes a risk and it doesn't come off, but take the risk and take it quick. Don't stop us attacking. Don't stop our flow. I don't give a fuck if it goes out for a corner, but try something. You know, so that's always my thing. So if he plays next season, Europa, Carabao, FA, couple of Premier League games, and we don't get the Curtis Jones that we got in the last 10 games, then what do we say? Do we just like completely shift on Jones and go like, let's sell him?
I think it depends on how it actually plays out. If he gets a load of opportunities and it's just a big issue, then conversations have to be had. But for me, the one thing that this season really reinforced for me is you can't bring Curtis Jones into the team for a game, then out for a game. The one thing that he needs is a consistent run. You need to let him play through the bad form if he starts off in bad form. I know that it's not necessarily an option at times, but that is how you get the best out of him. The Chelsea game, I don't think he was brilliant, but he was okay. And then he got another start afterwards, and it was a bit of an improvement. And another one afterwards against Leeds, which was the big one, and the confidence was growing and growing. And the same thing has happened this tournament with England. He's grown and grown and grown as each game's gone on, as the confidence goes up. Now, that will become less of a requirement the older he gets and the more mature he gets. But for next season, if it gets to the point where Curtis Jones has a good game or a good couple of games back-to-back, I think you just got to keep trying to start him until he warrants a dropping or until he warrants a rest. That's how I believe you've got to manage Curtis Jones. He's not like a youngster next season.
So you're saying he's a confidence player?
Yeah, 100% he is. 100% he is.
Do you understand? You have just triggered my biggest trap card just based on you saying.
In what way? In what way?
You know, I just got you, and I just proved my point tenfold just by you saying that. Because Michael's saying the same thing. He's saying Jones is very much a confidence player. You can see in the last 10 games and with the under 21, he played well. Now needs a consistent season. I'll say thank you, Michael, and I'll say thank you, Tom. So Tom, he's a confidence player, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably, let's be realistic here. I think Szoboszlai and McAllister are ahead of him in the pecking order, honestly. I think Thiago is ahead of him in the pecking order. And I think Fabinho is ahead of him in the pecking order. I'm not going to go over the top and say anyone else. So I'd say he's probably number 6 right now. Number 5 right now. And if we sign someone, he's probably going to be number 6. So if he's a confidence player, he's only going to start developing his confidence when he plays the first Europa League game, possibly the first Carabao Cup game. So next season, he won't necessarily be playing consistently in the team. Because even if he plays well in the Europa, McAllister and Szoboszlai and players like that, because of Klopp and because I trust my manager, I believe are going to be playing well in the Prem. So I don't think he'd overtake any of their places. So is his confidence going to break then if we play him in the Europa only?
If we're going off what Curtis Jones done in previous years, maybe, and that's a genuine concern to have. But I will then counter that with we've never seen Curtis Jones coming off such good form before, and how everything is lined up. In terms of, even you said it yourself, the jumps he made in his game, as much as I say he's boosted by his confidence and he's boosted by the fact he got a run of games, there's also so much of that is just an actual improvement that will survive with or without confidence. So, yes, maybe he might struggle a little bit next season if he's not playing as much. But there's also the idea that if he does end up playing in the Europa League and has a really good game, then why not start him in the Premier League next? And then give him at least the opportunity. If he doesn't take it, it's a different kettle of fish. But he at least warrants opportunities next year to grab that starting spot.
So you just it didn't answer the question indirectly.
No, I've said.
I know he warrants opportunities, but if he gets the opportunity,
I said it at the start, Husam. I said,
but he's not going to consistently play though.
Let's not make any mistakes about it. This is a make or break season for him. If this season comes and goes, and he's only played X amount of games, we might have to consider the future. And for him personally, he might want to. I'm good enough to start for Brighton or Villa or somebody like that. And we might have to that next step, but we won't know that until May. I don't want to jinx anything. We're all Liverpool fans. We know how unlucky we are with injuries, but Thiago ain't playing 50 games a season, is he? Come on, McAllister. We don't want to juice him out either. Like, if we're Thiago down, and this is obviously hypothetically speaking, if Thiago's out, that means we're gonna have to rely on McAllister a lot more, which means we're gonna have to rotate with Jones because, like we said at the start, we don't want another Stefan case on our hands where we've just rinsed the player time and time again, and then they're out. So, look, I think, first of all, it depends on the fixture. There's certainly some home games next season where everybody would be comfortable with Jones playing in. And then, second of all, I think the injuries, like we all know, we're not daft enough. We know we're going to get injuries next season. And that is probably going to be where he gets his chance to shine, as well as Europa, as well as the Cups. And again, like I said, I don't think we can talk about the next step until we've seen next season play out.
But the thing is, Ben, like, if he doesn't get a consistent run, that's the thing. Like, maybe he doesn't play at the quote-unquote new Curtis level. That's the thing. So if he's just playing Europa at the start or just Carabao at the start, then we're going to say the same stuff. That's my thing. Like, we're just going to go oh, he hasn't gotten a consistent run of game.
Again, logically, based off what has happened in the past, I agree. But you also agree with me that he's taken jumps in the past 10, 15 games. Which
of course. The last 10 games, of course.
Which therefore then suggests that maybe it's not going to be the same story if he's out of the team now. Therefore, my only question to you before we move on, because we've done however long the Curtis I need to go in half an hour.
Yes.
Do you? Let's say next season. Let's go on a hypothetical. Let's go down a hypothetical route like you've done. Let's say next season McAllister has picked up an injury. Thiago. He got
God forbid. Don't jinx it. God forbid.
No, but we know our luck. Let's say McAllister picks up a 6-game injury. Thiago is Thiago, so he's done his hamstring two months ago. We've lost him. We don't know where he's gone. So it's on Curtis Jones to play 6 games, and he has a run of form like he done to end the season. Once McAllister's back, do you think Curtis Jones should remain the starter, or should McAllister, who played the 3 months previously, go straight back in?
Oh, for me, I'm always a form guy, unless it's a big game. So I'm always a form guy unless it's a big game.
So then, why would Curtis Jones not start the first game of the season? Because he's in the best form.
No, but that's not how Klopp operates. I answered you what Husam would do. You know what Klopp does, Tom. You know what Klopp does. Quadruple season, take your mind back. First 2, 3, 4, 5 games, Tsimikas was killing it. Robertson back from injury. Robertson starts straight away. You know Klopp operates differently. Klopp is not just a form guy. Yeah, Klopp doesn't operate just on form.
I really wouldn't use an Andy Robertson comparison for an Alexis McAllister one, because Andy Robertson had been at the club for 5 years at that point. He'd been the starting left back for 5 years at that point. He had credit.
That's fair, but I don't think Klopp does that. I don't think Klopp moves like that. I think Klopp would probably put McAllister back in. I genuinely, I'm just saying based on what Klopp usually does. That's not what I would do, Tom. I'd keep Curtis in there if he's playing well. That's what I'm saying. I think Klopp would do.
So then, you think the first game of next season, he's starting McAllister?
100%. I expect McAllister.
What would you do?
My only worry is number 14, not Curtis. I'll be honest with you. That's my only worry.
That's a separate the amount of minutes he gets next season is a conversation that needs to be had, and it's a conversation that worries me, but we can touch on that later. Answer the question, Husam. First game, Chelsea away next season. Who's starting left centre mid for you?
Fabinho, Thiago, McAllister. That's what I think the three that Klopp's going to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
honestly the three.
pre-season will answer the question in my opinion.
Yeah, and listen, this whole Henderson thing. I know. Ben is pro Henderson. That's a whole can of worms.
Again, this pro Henderson thing, like I know he's crap, but I love him. He's my captain, so I respect him. I appreciate him. I don't want him to play. I don't want him to play.
But Ben, you have a go at Klopp for being sentimental, and then you're sentimental yourself.
He's my captain, man. Again, it's similar to Pearce. People hate the guy. I have no ounce of hatred in my body towards Jordan Henderson. Not one.
So you wouldn't get rid of Henderson?
I don't want him to leave. No, I want him to be eased
But
out.
at the same time, you don't want him to play.
Yeah, I want him to be around. I just don't think we could lose our captain and vice captain in the same window. I know people will say, "Oh, but City have done it in the past," and great, good for them. We're not City. We don't.
But forget City. We got so many different
money.
leaders. We got so many different leaders as well.
Do we though?
Yeah, we do.
Van Dijk's the Dutch national
leaders.
team captain. Robertson's the
How
Scottish
did that
national
work
team
out?
captain. Salah's the Egyptian national team captain. We've now bought the Hungarian national team captain.
Right.
Gakpo was former captain of PSV. I think Trent got
all these
skills as well.
captains, all these leaders, and all of these great players? Why did they not step up last season? And if we had so many leaders in the squad,
no, but then I can reverse the question on you.
I know what you're going to say.
To maintain standards, why didn't he maintain the standard?
But you're saying there's like 6 or 7 apart from Henderson. So
no, but can I tell you the difference? This is the difference. The reason why I don't think Henderson can maintain the standards is in order for him to maintain the standards for the collective, he's got to maintain it for himself. That's why I think there's. By the way, you're saying maybe from the fan base. I think there is from certain players even a lack of respect for him because like they're seeing him play like shit every week.
As a player, yeah, they probably don't rate him.
Yeah, but that's why Trent told him to F off, for example, 3-4 different times this season. Just this season, he said it. So if I'm the captain of This Is Football and I can't maintain the standards myself, I can't expect Ben and Tom to listen to me when I'm speaking to them about maintaining standards.
Standards will go up, mate. Don't worry if you left it in our hands.
If he leaves, then maybe we'll finally stop being sentimental regarding this whole thing. I think we've got enough leaders. I think our squad is full of leaders.
Maybe. The issue with Henderson last season was
Tom. I'll just say one statement. Like with the Henderson thing, for me, if we were Arsenal, I would want us to keep Henderson, but because we've got so many players who've been there, done that, and are leaders, I wouldn't really. Keep
the thing with Henderson last season was you'd watch him try and do the leadership on the pitch, the shouting at players, the trying to point them in the right directions, and then it'd always come back and bite him on the arse sooner or later in the same game. The one that stands, I'm not going to use the Nottingham Forest one. I'm going to use the one Chelsea when Matip and Alisson had that little mix-up, and then Kovacic boosted over the bar because they couldn't score for the save their lives. And then Henderson done that thing where he almost squared up to Alisson. Well, even though Matip and Alisson had sorted it out, they'd had a little shouting match. Henderson had to get involved. Fine. Then a minute later, on the attack, we didn't have many attacks going that game at times. We're on the attack, ball gets switched over to the right-hand side. Henderson's actually in a decent position. And as he goes to control the ball, he misses the ball and it goes out for a throw-in. And there's no apology or anything. He just slinks away. There is no doubt in my mind that Jordan Henderson is one of the best captains this club has had in a long, long time, because he's been able to lead us there, but he is not the same player he is now. This is the thing, and this is the part which I think certain sections of the fan base don't get. When I criticise Henderson, I'm criticising Henderson now, not trying to downplay what he achieved 3-4 years ago. I wouldn't do that. But criticising him now is not doing that. Criticising him now is saying the Henderson that we have right now is not helping this side. At times, it's hating us. Whether we like it or not, it's hating us.
And so Tom, what does the saying say? You either live long enough to the hero.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You want to know why that saying is true? Look at Firmino. The report was he left Liverpool because he just went to Klopp and he's like, I don't think I can help this team anymore. Now, in many people's eyes, he probably could have helped this team, but Firmino's so humble.
Second top scorer last season.
Exactly, but Firmino's like, you know what? I just can't help this team anymore, and he just, he left. And with Henderson, it's because honestly, Ben is like maybe a little bit going like, the Liverpool fans treated him this way, etc. I think if he plays this season, it'll be 100 times worse, because I think he's completely regressing. Just from a physical perspective, he's regressing massively. So if he plays next season, everyone's gonna go like, this guy's like actual.
I just struggle to see where he plays next season. That's the thing. Like I know where he's going.
And I struggle to see if his ego would allow him to be on the bench this entire time. That's another thing.
The thing is as well, though, like you mentioned the thing about Firmino leaving. Like, that's all well and good saying that you want to sell Henderson, but you've got to have a team that he's happy to go to, and a team that wants him like to start and to play. Now, Firmino's lucky because I still think he could have gone to La Liga. He could have gone back to Bundesliga, Serie A. He could have started for a top 6 club anywhere in the world. Henderson's not going to be able to do that. So is he going to, like, I know you're saying that, Firmino made the decision himself, but if you've got a 2-year contract left with the club, you're getting 180 grand a week. You're a captain. I know some people would want to see him step down.
Nothing's really going to tempt him to move.
Nothing's going to want him to go. No, nothing.
Money.
Absolutely nothing. But who's going to offer him more money than that?
Stevie, it's time to give me your greatest assist.
Husam, I'm so certain.
It's time to see Henderson and Al-Attifaq. It's written in the stars. The former Liverpool captain gets the current Liverpool captain, and we're all happy. And I'll be honest with you guys. I have a very.
What are your thoughts on him speaking Arabic, by the way, Husam?
I have a very unpopular opinion.
What benefit would him bringing Henderson have apart from he's got someone to talk to in the dressing room? That's it. Henderson is not going to be able to lead. You watch Steven Gerrard
play Saudi League, man.
You watch Steven Gerrard butcher Arabic in a skills way. Imagine the Geordie try and do it.
Listen, he doesn't have to lead in Arabic. He can lead the foreigners on the team. He can just lead the foreigners on the team. It's okay. Listen, Stevie, it's time. Former Liverpool captain gets current Liverpool captain. It's perfect for him. I think that's the perfect move. We're just going to touch on Levi Colwill now towards the end. But first, I'm going to run through the super chats. Big up to Felipe. Big up to the boss, Michael, Sultan, Tenerife, and Omar for the super chats. We're going to run through them real quick. Just go to Colwill before we wrap up because Tom Little is going on a date. Make sure you're all slapping the like button. Make sure you're all subscribing. 500 people are watching us, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you not believe him, Husam? Because you keep doing that every time you say it.
Oh, you know it's a lie. He has an imaginary girlfriend.
He's seen my bed. He's seen.
You know how I tell you this is a lie. Terry Tibbs, the scouser in the comments, will know exactly what I'm talking about. This guy went.
The fact that I went to Mexico for the weekend.
He went to Mexico and came back whiter. He came back whiter from Mexico. So he made up a whole trip.
Lad, I have the photos.
Just to pretend he has a girl.
I have the photos. I can show you.
Photoshop exists.
He was on Spaces for about a week as well, which is quite something.
Yeah, but I can be off space.
I literally have the photo from when I arrived there.
And I can Photoshop myself on the Eiffel Tower now. Does that mean I was in France? I wasn't on France, so yeah, that's it. Big up Tom, man. Big up Sultan says, ain't gonna lie, Sam Curtis is greater than Elliot. Elliot is trash. I just don't think Elliot is a midfielder per se. I think he's a 10 or a right winger. I think he'd be good as a Salah backup in the cup games. Big up to Tenerife. He says the big if when it comes to Curtis is if he gets to play the role he played at the end of the season. Let us be very frank here. Klopp has to either decide to use advanced midfielders like Harvey Curtis properly or sell them on. No, I agree with this as well. That's a fair point. I don't want to see Curtis play left wing. I don't want to see Curtis play double pivot. So I want him to play in that, like, Tom loves this fucking tactical talk, but that LCM role where he's doing that advanced 8 stuff. So yeah, it's just like I want him to play where he played last season, essentially. That's what I'm saying. So, and we will see. If he plays well, I'll hold my hand up again. Big up to Kurdish, won't hold his hand up, though, I'm telling you right now. Tenerife says, also sad to see Harvey not getting the same fan support as Curtis, even after showing quality more consistently. Tenerife, I think with Harvey, the biggest problem is position more than anything else. I just do not think he's an 8. I think he'd play well in the 10. I think he'd play well on the right wing. I don't think he's an 8. That's my thing. Big up to you, Tenerife. Big up to Omar, who says rotating the squad to accommodate a 5th choice midfielder, wanting Curtis to start game after game in order for him to gain confidence. What are we doing? Yeah, but Omar, that's why I asked Tom Little the question.
No, it's not. That is it, right. Look, I'm not rotating the squad to accommodate Curtis. What I'm suggesting is we've not had a proper midfield rotation. We had it 1 year. We've had it 1 year. when we nearly won the quad, we haven't had a proper midfield rotation. So when I say Curtis Jones will play minutes and he should be starting, that's because we just have a proper midfield rotation where players shouldn't have to play 55 games a season, starting 45 of them. Players should be starting max 40 games a season.
I hear you.
And that's the absolute maximum. That's if you're in Champions League and Premier League.
Okay, I hear you. Felipe, the Newcastle comes back, is like, I'm being silly. I think LFC will challenge if they sign Lavia and centre back because their DM and centre back depth is poor. Expect you to win Europa and second. Fair enough, Felipe. And I know you're messing around because he's a Newcastle fan, Felipe. So big up to you, my brother. Thank you for the super chat. And I do think I think we challenge regardless, even with Szoboszlai and Callister only. But if we want to go over the hill and win, we need those 2 extra pieces. That's the thing.
Can I just say on the back of that one, would you take that? Would you say it's failure? Europa and second.
I want us to win the league. I really want us to win.
Is it failure if that's what we do? Second, a close second and Europa League.
Probably, yeah. I want us to win the league. I really think we have a team to win the league, honestly. And by the way, I think we can win the league because of Europa. Because I don't think Klopp's going to take it seriously in the group.
Husam, should we? Is it time for me to repeat the statement that you said a good couple of weeks ago now? But it's still there.
Oh, should I repeat the statement that you said this season when you were Klopp out for Amorim? You wanted Klopp out for Amorim.
Yeah.
And you remember, eh?
Yeah.
He wanted Amorim. This guy used to go on Twitter weekly, post pictures of Xabi Alonso and Amorim, and go like, my manager.
And Thomas Tuchel.
And Thomas Tuchel.
Thomas Tuchel wasn't my finest moment.
To a shit Dortmund.
Thomas Tuchel wasn't my finest moment. But Husam, I'm going to simply... What did you say recently? It was something along the lines of, if Jurgen Klopp didn't win the league next season, you'd want him sacked.
Listen, we will see, depending on context. By the way, Vel's exposing you. Tom, I forgot to send you a picture of you standing next to the Mexico flag. Oh, Vel, so I've been asking you to Photoshop this. Fair enough. So anyway... Speaking of asking to Photoshop, listen, big up Jurgen Klopp. That's my manager right there. Unlike, Tom, the bedwetter who wanted Amorim. 520 people are here, folks. As I said, make sure you're liking, subscribing. 250 likes is our target. Slap that like button now. Subscribe to the channel. Big up Omar, Tenerife, Sultan, Michael, Felipe, and the boss. Everyone right now, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. The road to 16K continues. Now, Levi Colwill. Ben shared the video, Tom shared the video, I shared the video. I said, listen, Levi, if you are being held hostage, please blink twice. And he did a lot more than blink twice. That video, I've never seen someone indirectly say he wants to leave a football club more than that. He's like, as soon as I think that's Mbappe Madueke, right? As soon as he said like, oh, we're coming back. The guy's like, oh, this guy, and he just moves around the way. So that whole Levi Colwill situation and the centre-back situation. Let's start with Ben this time. What's your thoughts on Colwill and the centre-back situation in general?
Yeah. I'm all for it, to be honest. I feel like we need one. I think I actually saw your tweet. You replied to one earlier saying that's more important, and I probably agree with that, getting one of those in. And I did a tweet a few days ago. I think Colwill ticks every single box, but the 18 million apparently is what they're asking for. Don't see us going anywhere near that, and
Chelsea are so delusional.
Yeah, I don't see them even trying to negotiate with us, to be honest. But there could be a world where he tells them he wants to go and he pushes for a move, and it could get late on into the deadline day, and they might need to get somebody out. And there could be something there, but yeah, I don't know who the other targets are, to be honest. Obviously, we've heard Inacio. That's been a name that's been popped up in the window so far. But Colwill, yeah, I'll be absolutely buzzing if we get him in. I just don't see it for the price and the club that we'd have to be dealing with. I just can't see it.
I don't know what Chelsea are on, to be honest with you. I don't know what they're on. Like 80 million for Colwill. Like I don't know.
Someone just said he's not even better than Matip. I think that's a bit.
Let's not go on Bambi on ice and ice spice right now. I'll be honest with you. That's the reason why we need a centre back to begin with. We're so honest with you. These two are the reason why we need a centre back. So Tom Colwill, what are you saying? Think you're gonna put the money down? I can't like that video though. That was a video. Like I think this guy's thinking about, because I know when I spoke to the Chelsea journalist, I think it was at the start of the window, before we even were a thing for him, Brighton wanted to buy him permanently as well. But Chelsea asked Brighton for too much money as well. They were asking for 80 million, something like that. So I don't know. I really don't see a world in which Liverpool pay that much.
The funny thing is that video isn't the first thing this week that's come out about Colwill Liverpool.
Harvey Elliott.
But the Harvey Elliott stuff, the picture of him in a Liverpool shirt from when he was a kid. No, it all just seems to be falling. Look, the thing is for me with Colwill, you know how highly I think of him. I've sat there and said that I think he's the closest thing that we've seen to Van Dijk since Virgil van Dijk in terms of play style, in terms of the build and the way he's able to actually hold himself in the game. I would love to see him, Van Dijk and Konate as a back three. I think that's the best centre-back trio in the league. The price is a big thing, and whether Chelsea
Best in the league?
I think Van Dijk, Konate, Colwill will be the best centre-back trio in the league.
That's a good trio right there.
But the price is the big sticking point. The thing is, for me, that's given me not confidence, but sort of a belief that we are. There's two things. One, I've not seen a single credible link to any other centre back. Like Inacio was just Portuguese stuff. Pearce has been Italian stuff. Who else is that we've been linked with? Like, I can't even think of anyone.
Koch up at the start.
Yeah, but that's not Van der Ven. Yeah, that one was because we have their old sporting director. Like, Colwill's the only one that's had yeah, like even that one was just like an opinion piece or something. Like, this is the only one that's been credible, consistent links with. Unlike the midfield, where you were seeing a number of links with a number of players, this makes me think he's top target number one. He's only target, and we will therefore pay a big price to get him in because there's no other names being mentioned. We would have at least sounded out backup options. If A, there was the player didn't want to join, or B, we weren't getting at least an idea that something could happen. I do think this one will drag on. I really do. Because
but do you think that's wrong, though? The whole just plan A or nothing approach? Because we did try that last year.
Yes and no, in terms of... I don't think that it's plan A or nothing. I think it's plan A for as long as we can run plan A till.
People didn't want to hear me out on my Sergio Ramos take. Everyone got mad. Instead of actually listening to what I'm saying.
Ramos.
Listen, Ramos played with Messi. They had a worse relationship than Ramos and Salah. Way worse relationship. They killed each other in El Clásicos for 10 years. This is what I told Tom, right? I'm like, listen, let's go take our money and finish this midfield rebuild, get to the last piece. And if we have no more budget left, call up Ramos. And I would rather have a stopgap for a year than have no one. Just give me Ramos. And it's written in the stars, Etihad away, Ramos 1-0, he locks up Haaland. I just sense it in my soul if we do that. But
37-year-old Ramos in a high line.
Listen, he's quick. His quickness has never been a problem.
Injury-prone Sergio Ramos now as well.
He would be third choice, Tom.
Third choice in a back three.
Yeah, I'm not. No. He would be third choice. I'm not saying he'd start. He'd be third choice.
Look, I'm with Colwill. I'm desperate to get Colwill over the line. I really want us to. I think England are going to struggle to produce a better centre back than that for a good couple of years.
Do you remember Tom as well? Like Klopp said in one of his last press conferences of the season that we have no idea who he was alluding to. It could have been Szoboszlai, but he said that players that are at the better clubs naturally will go on in the window. Like, ideally, we want to have everyone by the start of pre-season, which they fly out to Germany. I think it's probably like late next week or something. But some players, the better players at the better clubs, it will naturally take longer to get them
100%. So. Chelsea aren't going to want to sell him either.
Exactly.
I think it would take Colwill. Look, he's got a meeting. I know that he's got a meeting soon with Pochettino to figure out what's going on. If that doesn't go well, stuff could move quicker.
Didn't with Mason Mount, did it?
Like, this is the thing. Like, I do think there's a potential. It's not a big chance, but there's a potential chance that he could join us, and I want us to take that chance if it opens up, because you've got not even just for the short term, of Van Dijk, Konate, Colwill's immense. 3, 4, 5 years down the line, imagine Colwill and Konate hitting their prime together. Tell me what centre back duos in 5 years' time are going to be close to that.
Well, do you think we pay the money though? Because that's
I do. But I personally could see us doing it.
You really think we pay 80 mil?
You know what? 80 mil. I would be a bit annoyed that we didn't try and go for Caicedo?
I think Caicedo.
Would you rather have Colwill than Caicedo? Okay, fair enough.
I think Caicedo, from what I've seen and what I've read and all that, Caicedo just wants Chelsea and they're going to pay him big money in that. Plus,
They might need a way to get that money then. So
we're going for Lavia, aren't we? So, I mean, look, with Colwill, if there's a way it can happen, the club should make it happen because he's such an immense centre back, and it should free up. We can then sort of make a little bit of money. But I'd sell Tsimikas if we got Colwill because I don't see really where his future lies.
You're just such a Tsimikas hater for no reason.
I'm not. I like Tsimikas.
Why do you hate Tsimikas so much?
Husam, right? Okay. Let me paint the picture of Tsimikas.
Who has a better backup left back, bro?
Husam, that'd be great if we were playing with a left back. But the backup left back is now Robertson, because the left back position as a whole is a backup position. So Tsimikas is backup to a backup in a backup position at 27. I just think, and his contract's up in 2 years anyway. I think if you're able to get Colwill through the door, I think you get a little bit of money back to Tsimikas. And then 80 million, it's a lot of money for someone who, hasn't really proven himself, but that's the way the market is now. It's the way the market is. But I've not seen us this insistent on a player in terms of there's been no other targets for a while. If
you're saying we're going to drop the 80 million, then you're just being extremely optimistic. That's
I think
the way
60 is the absolute most we'd probably go to. But even then,
again, though, I think that's probably what we would want to. But then you've also got to look at the market and say that Kai Havertz has went for 65. Are you telling me that Chelsea? Are you telling me that Chelsea aren't going to want more for Colwill than what they got for Kai Havertz?
Chelsea have messed up the buyers and the sellers market. They've just messed up everything. That's the problem. They've just messed it all up. Anyway, look, we're gonna wrap it up here because this guy apparently he knows a woman that he's gonna go out with. So,
look at this.
So big up to you guys. This is an unbelievable stream. We still have 550 people here. We could keep it going for a bit longer, but out of respect for Tom Little, so we're just gonna end it over here. Big up to you guys.
You wouldn't sell Tsimikas this summer if we bought a left centre back in.
I would not sell Tsimikas. Why would I?
So you'd keep him as the third choice.
You know what your problem is? You said you wouldn't sell Jota because you want us to keep our depth, right?
Yes.
And we need depth. And then when we have depth on left back, you're like bitching.
No, because then it's too much depth. He's not going to play.
There's too much depth.
Sam, the players.
Tom, Europa League. Tom, you need to understand. Europa League, we aren't gonna do this inverted crap. We need a left back in the Europa. We need.
So play Robertson then.
Because Robertson is gonna start in the Prem because he's Klopp's son. Please understand that.
Oh my God! Which is why I've said if we buy a centre back, if we buy a centre back, therefore you've got the player who's going to play in the Prem. So then Robertson goes to the Europa League minutes. What minutes does Tsimikas get then?
I'm still not selling it. I'm still not selling. I'm sorry, we need a backup left back just in case.
He's a hoarder.
Listen, big up
That's
Tsimikas,
what he is.
Man. Tsimikas is my guy. Tsimikas is technical. He's a technical left back that we need a little bit of. Anyway, 500 people are here, guys. This was a brilliant show. Big up Ben for stepping up. And it's funny because I actually agree more with Ben than with Tom. I realized today maybe it's just that I deliver stuff like an asshole. That's the problem. So it's just the delivery. It's the way I say stuff. It's not what I'm saying. That's the problem. So I think that today we have discovered that's the real issue with this entire situation. Make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Get big up to Omar, Tenerife, Sultan, Michael, the boss, and Felipe. Make sure you come back at 11:15 p.m. UK time. We've got Al Ahwa episode 5. We've got Mu'min coming on from France, quote unquote. We've got Staffy coming on. We're going to be talking about Onana. We're going to be talking about B-Tech Haaland. We're going to be talking about multiple different topics. Our Arsenal being disrespected. So many different things. So stay tuned. We're going to go to the panel. They're going to let you know where you can find them. Tom, where can people find you?
You can find me at Tom Little with a 1 on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, the works.
I love how Tom Little used to answer this like a smart ass like a year ago, but now he has a channel, so he can't answer it like a smart ass anymore. He can't. last 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 summer he was like, oh, if I was asking last summer, we were like, oh, you could find me on a date with that's where you can
What is
find me.
this thing you've got now?
Because you know you're lying. Anyway, so big up to you, Tom. Big up. Ben, thank you for joining us. Where can people find
You're
you?
welcome, mate. Yeah, just on Twitter, SMX LFC. Do bits and pieces on YouTube, but I did have my own channel at the minute. So yeah, just drop me a follow on Twitter.
Okay, big up to you, Ben, man. I'm gonna get you on to discuss that Henderson thing someday. So get ready.
Go for it.
Yeah, guys, make sure you follow Ben. Make sure to go follow Tom. Me and Ben, you can find us arguing on Twitter. Me and Tom, we argue all the time, everywhere, even in the DMs. So make sure you like, subscribe, and come back 11:15. Peace out, Habibs.